Hey guys, I decided to do today's story without any intro or background music. This video contains explicit language and graphic situations. The link to the story is in the description below. Okay, so this happened a few years ago when I was beginning ninth grade. Forgive me if it gets to be a bit long, that's the nature of the narrative. Beware in advance. This is not one of those stories where something unexpected and creepy happens at the end, but its aftermath is still tragic beyond belief and left me permanently changed. Just for the reader to get a better picture, I live in the capital city of a third world country, and malls and cineplexes had fairly recently become a fad among the well-to-do in urban areas. A couple of girlfriends and I had gone out for a movie and dinner afterwards. At TGIF's, go figure. The subway system had also recently finished construction and become immensely popular here, so I thought, what the heck, I can take the subway. The subway stop was pretty close to our house as well, so it was really convenient. As I messed around on my phone on the subway, trying to pass the time, I could see a boy, no older than 18 or 19, constantly stealing covert glances at me. In that moment, all my feminist angst went out the window, and I can honestly admit, I wish I hadn't worn a dress, thinking maybe he wouldn't stare if I had worn something more covering. Anyway, my stop arrived, and as one does at one stop, I got up and started to leave. This boy also got off at the same stop. Now, in these types of stories, people often say they knew something was off or weird. I didn't. He wasn't anything other than the standard issue creep I was used to in this city. This boy then falls in a step a bit behind me, but not too far either. No issue. I'm still thinking, no need to be paranoid. By now, though, it's about 10 p.m., so I am getting worried and uneasy. It doesn't help that the street is practically empty, flanked by large houses and broken street lamps that light up jack shit. I can hear him murmuring into his cell phone, so I'm thinking maybe he really doesn't care about me. Then after some time, I notice he isn't there anymore. Yay! But I don't want to take any chances, so I call up my brother to come and meet me halfway, and we'll walk the short way home together. So as I'm walking my way and hoping my brother will catch up with me any second now, I see a shoe poking out of the alley. I just know it's that guy. Then I notice something that gives me chills even now. He's standing next to 3 other guys, and they're all jacking off together right there on the street. I'm scared shitless because, A, I was a sheltered kid in a country where sex education is what is called literally taboo beyond belief, and B, who does that? I turned around and started walking away fast, hoping they didn't notice, but they did. They zip up their pants and sort of advance towards me. Not exactly threateningly, but definitely sneering at my trying to get away. I'm quickening my pace, but I know if I run, they'll run too and catch up with me. If I keep walking up ahead, I'm on a road that goes on for miles and miles. So I'm walking fast, police number ready to dial, waiting for my brother to appear any second now, hoping and praying these guys will go away. I was wearing a dress that buttons down the front, and one of the guys comes straight up before I was able to run or even dial the number, and forcefully tears the first button off. A bit of my bra is now exposed. I know I'm going to be raped and murdered. And where the fuck is my brother? And just, oh my God. One of the guys is holding an iron rod about 3.5 feet in length. In our native language, he says, they're going to shove it up my cunt and then my ass. And the button-ripping guy firmly holds my wrist. Just then, I hear loud footsteps. It's my brother. Now, I think the guys thought they could take him because he was just one guy, and sneered at me again when I called out to him, almost crying and desperate. But they didn't realize one important thing. My brother is a 6'4" pro tennis player who bench presses more than these guys' body weight put together. As he gets close, they freak out. The original guy on the subway snatches a necklace I was wearing straight off my neck, and they all run. I'm shaken and scared, but it's over. So we go home, tell my parents, and we decide we're going to the police the next morning. The next morning, we go to the police. Magically, they show us pictures of each guy. I'm really surprised because police here have a terrible track record investigating assault-type cases, and how did they do that without an actual complaint? Then they tell my parents, who later tell me. These guys went on to brutally rape a small child 5 kilometers away from my neighborhood. Chillingly, they'd taken my necklace and put it around the neck of the baby girl they left dead. But they were seen on tape by traffic cameras doing their heinous act and had been caught and then admitted to also harassing a girl of my description in my neighborhood earlier in the evening, before progressing to their final act. So I come from a really rich family, which is fairly well known in political and business circles in my city. This is kind of relevant in two ways. A, this was why these guys were indicted fairly fast, as my parents put a lot of pressure on the authorities. And B, I struggled with being angry at why wealth was such an important factor in these cases. Rape is rape, right? The final few things I want to say is this. Even coming from a very well-respected family, the policeman asked me why I was wearing a dress, implying that I was asking for it. Another appalling realization I had was if I was not from my family, if I was not well-known or connected, if I was a normal girl out with my friends, would any police personnel investigate my claims? If I didn't call my brother, would I be alive? Hell, most girls my age don't even have cell phones here. They couldn't call anyone. Finally, was I the cause of that little 5-year-old girl's rape and murder? What if they did that to her because they lost access to me? She belonged to a very poor family. My parents hadn't intervened. If I wasn't involved, would those men have walked free? If I didn't have stigma-free access to expensive therapy, would I ever be mentally sound again? This whole incident left me afraid of my own city and country. To this day, I haven't worn a dress outside after 5 p.m. It left me with a deep skepticism for law enforcement, and I still feel guilty for a little girl who never got to grow up to go to school or have a chance at life. And I still have concerns about how my family's wealth became such an important factor in this case. What about all the girls who can't afford all of my privileges? To end on a brighter note, I really have gotten over everything that happened. To an extent. I'm even leaving home to study in the U.S. at a great university this year. And I am determined to not let this event determine what I do with my life in the future.